December 26th. And I have been playing Baldur's Gate 3. Oh God. I've been playing it since like 7 p.m. That's like 5 hours now. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I just hit you with my hair. Come here. Thank you. I need to rant about this game. I got this game 2 or 3 days ago now. It is my Christmas present to myself. And I also bought Hogwarts Legacy, but I haven't done much with it yet. I have just been brain rotting on Baldur's Gate, and I don't even know how much time I have spent on this game yet. I know it has been quite a bit, and I have not gotten very far in this dang game for someone who has been playing for quite a bit. Let me see. How many hours have I been playing? Tell me, Steam. Tell me. Where is it? Baldur's Gate. I have been playing for 13.6 hours already. Granted, at least 1 or 2 of those hours, I just had the game paused. So, but still, that's a lot of hours. Anywhooser, this game is good. However, I am constantly Googling things. And I mean constantly. Every 10 minutes, I go to Google and I'm like, how do I do this? How do I do that? What would happen if I do this? Is this a bad idea to choose this? What is the best weapon? What is the best armor? What is the best build for my specific character? What is the best build for, what the heck is her name? Shadowheart. What's the best build for Will? What's the best build for Gale? What's the best build for this person and that person and blah, blah, blah. How do I get Halcyon to join my group? Etc. I'm not exaggerating. That is quite literally what it looks like on my Google search. And Google, 90% of the time, does not help me. And even then, I still have to look at 3 different websites to finally get the answers that I am looking for. Because let me tell you something. I'm having some issues with the whole aspect of the game that is a very big aspect that is known as combat. I don't like combat. And you're probably thinking, Melissa, why would you buy a game like this when you knew there would be combat? Well, you see, I knew that there was also a storytelling element. There's a storyline. There's multiple storylines. And that's all I care about. I care about a storyline, and I care about dating pixel NPCs. That's all I care about in life when it comes to video games. I don't like killing things. I don't like fighting things in any game. And like with any game that has combat, I find ways to get around that by cheating, because I do not care at all. I saw a forum on Steam earlier today of someone asking a question, and someone else responded quite literally saying, how about you just get over it and play the game as the way it was intended to be played? And someone else responded, how about they play the way they want to play because they've already paid for the game? And I agree with the second person. Let me play this game the way I want to play it. Right now, I am already playing the game in Explorer difficulty, a narrative experience placing story before combat. And there's still too much combat for my liking. I just had to obliterate a whole goblin camp, and I did it. It was not fun, but I cheated to get there. I'm gonna be honest, I cheated, and I do not feel bad about it, because all I care about is questing and the storyline and getting my NPC characters to like me and trust me, and everything else I don't care about fighting things and killing things and being mean. It's also kind of scary because I've got a couple of friends that want to play with me on this game. And one of them, I feel as though we probably would play very well together because it seems as though we have a similar enough/ish playing style for this game. However, neither friend knows that I do not like fighting. So I feel like I'm gonna be playing this game by myself for the rest of my life. And you know what? I can live with that. I can. I really can. I don't like fighting. It's not for me at all. I just want to be left alone to my own devices. I've already gotten to kiss one of the NPCs and I'm quite happy with myself. Although it is not the NPC I thought I'd get to kiss. This guy real easy. Let me tell you, I've barely spoken to him. But I got to kiss him. I was like, all right, this is where we're going. All right, let's go. And then as far as asking for help and getting answers to my questions, one of my friends, who I know most of the time is not busy, I bug him first because of the fact that I know he's usually not too busy. And he will answer my questions, but in such a way that it just confuses me worse. And I'm sure if I wasn't dumb about games like this, his answers probably would have made like perfect sense. But I don't understand. And it is like talking to an adult in a Charlie Brown cartoon where they just go wah 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 wah. That is what it's like when this friend answers my questions. Like, to give you an example, if I were to have asked this question, or if I were to have asked this friend the simple question of, should I pick pink or blue? Instead of just answering pink or blue, this friend would instead tell me the history of both colors and never actually answer the question at hand. This is what it is like asking him any questions about this game. And then my other friend has been telling me to ask him questions instead. And I've asked a question already, and he was already helpful with it. But here is the issue. The issue is that when I typically want to play this game, said friend is usually in bed. I don't want to bother him when he's in bed because that's mean and he needs his sleep. So instead, I go back to Google and the other friend. And then I get nowhere, and then I'm just like left to my own devices. And if I tell this friend that I'm recording this video right now and they see this, I just know they're going to text me. And they're going to be like, Melissa, you can still text me. It is fine. It is not a problem. And then I'll be like, no, friend, that I'm not going to say their name on this video. Friend, I'm not going to do that because you need your sleep. And then they'd be like, no, it's fine. I'm good. I don't need my sleep. I'm just this. And I'd be like, I'm going to ignore you and continue to not ask you any questions when I am playing this game because it just so happens to be when you are normally sleeping. It is December 26th, so I'm technically now I am now 21 minutes late, but Merry Christmas. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Bye. it is me, almost a year later. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear my little desk heater. It is March 19th, 2024, and for whatever reason, it's like 40 degrees outside. So that is fun. We love that. Life has definitely been lifing since the last time I spoke to you. Oh, look at my flowers back there. Look at that. Cedric and Faith bought me those for my birthday. Hello. So cute, so sweet. I'm glad you can see them on camera, because normally when I'm on the streaming sites I go on, you can't really see them that well. So I'm glad you can see them. Anywho, so yeah, life has been lifing since the last time we spoke. I have a list of topics that we're going to talk about today. Let's just dive into it. So first off, my mom died. Yeah, we're just gonna dive right in. She died on January 28th this year in the late afternoon time, early evening. I don't remember if I even spoke on the fact that she was not doing well health-wise in my last little video, because I wouldn't say I was in denial of her being sick. That was not it at all. Maybe I was. Now I'm thinking about it. I think when you're in that situation, you always just kind of hope for the best. And that's what I was doing. I didn't believe that it would get worse, because to me, she still seemed relatively young, I guess you could say. I mean, she was going to turn, I think, 67 or 68 this year. I know that's middle age, but like most of my family members live until they're almost 100. So to me, that's like young for her to pass away at that age. Another issue was I didn't know what to believe. My dad has a habit of pretending that he is a doctor, simply because of the fact that he owns a medical textbook that's from like the frickin' 1960s or 70s, like very old. And so he likes to diagnose people based off of what that textbook has told him. I'm sure he's probably advanced to Googling things, because that's an even better route. There were things that he would say that were definitely a lie, 100%. And I did not really have a way to get into contact with her actual doctors. It's a lot of crap that I don't feel like going into great detail on right now, only because I have so much other stuff to say, but a lot of crap. Basically, the beginning of last year in January, actually the first weekend of January, I rushed out very last minute to Kansas to see my mom, because he told me that she was on her deathbed. Fortunately, she was not even like remotely close. Yes, her health had declined, but she was not on her deathbed at all. From that point, I visited 2 more times before she passed away, and that was interesting, because when I first visited last year in January, she seemed like her normal self. Nothing seemed different, besides the fact that she was using a walker to keep her balance and walk around. Otherwise, like personality wise and everything else, no difference at all. And then things changed. I want to say probably near the point when I made my last video, so around April or May last year, things seemed to take a major turn. By that point, she was like going into the hospital every single month. She was lucky if she could stay out of the hospital for 30 days. But again, during this time, I still didn't know what was going on, what was the truth. It wasn't that I didn't believe that she was going in the hospital. I did believe that because my dad could provide me with phone numbers for me to be able to call her. It was just, I didn't know what was actually going on health-wise, which was extremely frustrating. At one point, there was talks of like she has cancer and like her doctor or a nurse for her doctor at the time, like her primary care doctor or some sort of doctor of hers, had actually called me, and because she had like tests done and they couldn't get a hold of my dad. And my dad was quite literally ignoring them, and he admitted to ignoring them because, like I said earlier, he thought he could diagnose her herself or himself. They had called me and said she needs to go to the hospital now. Her results aren't good. It looks like it could be cancer of some sort. And they told me that apparently they had inklings that she might have, I think it was probably like ovarian cancer. They had inklings of that like at least 2 years prior, and my dad denied or did not let my mom go in at that time to get further testing to see if it was actually like cancer and stuff. In the end, luckily she did not have cancer, but that was fun. I feel like I'm giving so many more details than I was like meaning to. It's not that I don't want to, it's just I have so much to say. So things, they did not get better, and then by basically Thanksgiving, she was put into hospice care and moved into a nursing home. She had been moved into nursing homes a few different times last year, but by Thanksgiving, that was the last place that she was moved to and where she passed away in. Visiting her the second and third time was drastically different than the first time. Kind of, sort of. Okay, so the second time I visited, yes, it was drastically different. She did not try to talk to me at all, not like in the sense of she was mad at me or anything. She just was a shell of herself. You could just tell she was depressed. She even admitted to being depressed. My dad denied her medication that was prescribed for her for that. Good job, Dad. And then I saw her once again the third time a week later because she had been admitted to the hospital again. And I genuinely thought she was going to pass away at that point because of how she was the second time I had seen her the week prior. I saw her in the hospital and it was completely different than the week prior. She didn't seem depressed. I mean, sure, she was not happy in the situation she was in, but it was completely different, which just kind of explained the whole situation of like, she was happier when she wasn't around him. There's so much more I could say on this topic, but I'm going to try and like wrap it up so I can move along. It has been very conflicting, her passing away. Things going back and forth. Most of the time, I'm fine. I'd say probably 90% of the time, I'm fine. And then randomly, and I mean completely out of nowhere, I will have moments where I'm reminded that she's dead in various ways. And then I'll go from being completely fine, just living life, to, oh, I'm crying. I'm crying. I think that's just strange to me, that concept of being 100% fine one moment and then thinking of it randomly and being like, nope, we're not fine at the moment. It's very strange. I have a very strange relationship with both of my parents that it would take too long to get into in this video, and that is not the purpose of this video. I went to her funeral. I was not happy with her funeral for various reasons. Again, I've talked too much on this particular subject already, so I would just leave it at that. She didn't have a bad funeral. That's not the issue. The issue was that she did not have the funeral she deserved. That annoys me to no degree. I don't know. She deserved better in so many different aspects, but at least, for God's sakes, her funeral should have been better. basically the next thing is that when there was talks of her potentially having cancer, I had a literal spiral with anxiety and thought, oh, my health anxiety tells me that I must have it as well. And so I started the process. It wasn't even just that. I was already planning on going to the doctor just to do like a yearly checkup as it was anyways. What was going on with my mom definitely didn't help. I had blood work done, like a typical blood work list. My white blood cell count was elevated. Different things were elevated. And Cadence's stepmom, Miss Wendy, was just like, you have to change your life. Like, she didn't say this specifically, but basically, like, if I don't change my life will turn out the same way that it is turning out for my dad and how it turned out for my mom. She didn't say that, but that's the conclusion. And so from May 19th until now, we're still going strong. It hasn't stopped yet. I started dieting and exercising. And so far as exercising, I've only missed 9 days total. And that was because I injured myself doing my exercise. I get 10,000 steps at least 7 days a week. That's what I'm doing now. It's varied since the start. I started out with like a lower amount, but as it is right now, I am at least 10,000 steps. And then I am in a calorie deficit. I have almost lost 50 pounds doing that. It has been a very interesting process, but the last time I saw my doctors, which was the middle of February this year, had some more blood work done, and all of my levels are in the normal range now. But the annoying thing about this process is just that with my health anxiety, I made things harder for myself, but then also I had to deal with different doctors that did not give me any answers to anything. Even if there was nothing wrong, they wouldn't specify that either. They just would be like, let's do more testing. So we would do the same tests over and over and over again. And I'm not exaggerating. I gave so much blood away. And that was just frustrating and just very conflicting because I had never experienced what I experienced for like the past almost year now. When it comes to my health and going to doctor's appointments, I've never experienced that. And I know that it's worse for others who actually have something legitimate happening and going on. But I thought I had something going on because I wasn't being told anything. And because I wasn't being told anything by an actual doctor who I would ask multiple questions to, I would search for those answers elsewhere, which you're not supposed to do, but I did it. So that was a fun time. I also had to learn that life goes on. And just because I'm dealing with stuff medically, that doesn't mean that's my whole life. I don't know how to word this because I know what I'm saying, but I don't know how to word it. Basically, for almost the full past year, I have made my whole life revolve around this medical drama, and I didn't need to. So something I've been learning is, first off, to distract myself from even worrying about it in the first place. If there's not really something for me to worry about, then I shouldn't be worrying about it to begin with. And so I've been getting better about that. I really have, surprisingly, because I have been trying to accomplish that for years now, and I'm finally like actually getting somewhere with it. So that's nice. And then what else was helpful was I went on a 3-month trip last year at the end of the year, which I'll talk about in a second. But it was, I spent time with my friend Cadence, Christiana, and then I also went to New Mexico for the majority of the time. But it was super helpful, especially when I stayed with Christiana. I told her the whole situation, and she was just like, she told me all the things she's dealt with in the past, not even like 5 years, health-wise and stuff. And just hearing her talk about her stuff was like so helpful, even though her stuff was not even the same as my stuff at all. It was so helpful to be like, wow, the world really isn't going up against me and soloing me out. Like, unfortunately, this is normal. I just be experiencing growing pains because of what my life was growing up. I feel like I'm constantly just like zeroing in on myself and thinking that the world is against me when it really isn't at all. Like, this is just life. And life sucks sometimes, and that's just what it is, but also life goes on. Another thing, going into the topic of my trip and all that, is being around people is super helpful. Just existing around other people is nice instead of just being alone all the time in my apartment. It helps my anxiety so much. And it's just nice to be around people. Also, my trip was good. Did a lot of stuff. Saw a lot of stuff. Saw people. Ate stuff. Got stuff. Stuff. I plan on putting out some montages of the stuff that I did. I already put out my end of the year montage very late. Per usual, apparently, for the past few years is that it's going to be late. But I just put that out. I'm working on my self-concept. That's one of my goals for this year, is to work on my self-concept, which basically just means thinking better of myself, I guess, is the very quick and easy way to describe it, is thinking better of myself, because I just be down on myself and I don't need to be. Something else is that I am trying to get back into hobbies, my old hobbies. So journaling, writing, more photography, actually being creative with my YouTube videos and not just like slapping them together and being like, here you go. I'm also in the process of getting back into being creative with my graphic design in my free time and learning stuff, watching tutorials and stuff like that. Because even though I'm very grateful for the job that I have, it's very mundane work, and I like it in the sense of it's super easy work. I just do it and then I'm done. I just work here. But at the same time, because it's so mundane, I don't think it's really advancing my portfolio in any specific way. So I don't like that. So I'm gonna start working on some little projects just to get things going again creatively. That's the word. What's next? Oh, my birthday. I'm going to be making a birthday vlog, but it went great. Loved it. 10 out of 10. I was going to do stuff on my birthday, which was a Saturday, and then the Sunday after, I was going into the city both days to go sightseeing and all that, but I only ended up doing Saturday, my actual birthday, because I woke up the next morning like 2 hours before I was supposed to, and I just felt like absolute crap, sick to my stomach. I ended up being fine, but because I felt so awful, I was like, I don't want to like push it. So this is enough. I had a little FOMO about that, but it's okay. It's all right. Also, that following Tuesday, I, for the first time ever, spent basically the whole day at a movie theater. I saw 3 movies back to back because AMC has a deal right now where you can get a month's subscription to their A-list thing, A-lister, whatever it's called, where you get to see 3 free movies every week for that month, and it costs 99 cents. I saw Madam Web, Dune 2, and Poor Things. Poor Things was my favorite. Dune 2 was probably my second favorite, and then Madam Web was my third. However, I liked all of them equally. The only other thing I have on my list is talking about how I actually go on walks now. That's how I do my exercise, but when I started exercising last year, I only was walking inside of my apartment, which sounds super lame, and it is super lame, but another reason is because it's hot. outside most of the time. And when I started exercising, it was basically almost summertime and it was so miserable. Since I've gotten home from my trip, I've actually gotten better about actually going out for walks, and I enjoy it so much. I just be exploring, wandering about, because I just don't know the lay of the land. Well, now I do, but I did not know the lay of the land of my neighborhood even until these past few months. And so I genuinely enjoy doing this. Oh, I had one more thing. Gosh. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk about is, well, first off, I have glasses now. Got them at the beginning of January. And then also on the topic of my eyes, I am suspected to potentially have glaucoma. I'm currently in the process of doctor's appointments to find out, but I guess I'm gonna butcher the terms, but if I'm remembering correctly, I was told that the cones in my eyes are larger than they should be for a Caucasian person. So that has been fun to deal with. I've had 2 appointments so far. My last appointment was like technically my first official appointment on the subject itself. They did a field vision test on me. As far as I know, that came out fine. They didn't actually really tell me much about that, or maybe they did. I just didn't understand. I don't know. However, my first appointment back in December, one of the other reasons they were concerned was because my eye pressure was high. So this last appointment, they said it was actually in the normal range again, finally. So that's good. And then also, again, I don't remember the terms, but something in your eyeball is supposed to be thick, or maybe it's supposed to be thin. I don't remember, but whichever one is good, apparently mine is that. So that's also a good plus. I actually have to go to my second appointment this coming Tuesday, so a week from today, to do another test. It's a different test. I don't remember what she called it. I just remember the word side, SIDE, was in the name. So I'm going to do that. And then at the end of July, I have my third test. And so my third appointment. And at that appointment, they'll be doing the field vision test once again, just to see if anything has changed. And I guess by that point, I will actually have a diagnosis, if I have it or not, or if I was actually just born with my cones being large or whatever. It's been fun. I don't like the process. I actually spiraled on it because I just didn't know the information. And unfortunately, that very first appointment, I was in such shock of them telling me that that was potentially a thing that I didn't even know what questions to ask, and I couldn't even ask any questions because I just was internally spiraling and stuff. The only question I was able to ask at the very first appointment was like, did I cause this? Did I do something wrong? Because all I could think about was like my dad growing up telling me that me using a computer was screwing up my eyes and stuff. The doctor was just like, nope. Unless if you had suffered an extreme trauma to both of your eyeballs, there's no way that you can actually cause this yourself, or if you have a genetic, like a family history of it, which I asked my dad, and we do, as far as he knows, we do not have a family history of it. I've learned way more about it. If I do have it, I caught it pretty early on, which is very fortunate. But that will be something to deal with if that is the case. Womp womp. I think that's everything. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one. I'm actually gonna, like I said a little bit ago, I'm gonna be putting out a birthday vlog montage thing video, and then also little montages for everything else I've done recently. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.